What's up guys, GK here. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna tune a Hoyt VTM 31 and take you through the steps on how we would tune a Hoyt. So same kind of scenario as I would with any other bow. As soon as I get it and start to work on it, I'm gonna make sure everything's level first. Good starting point, just so you're not chasing your own tail for a while. String angle center there. Sight axis is slightly off, so I'm gonna go ahead and adjust that. Sight axis is gonna be a big deal, especially when you're shooting through paper and all that, because if you're having to torque the bow just to get the bevel in the center, then that's not gonna be a realistic bow tune. So what I'm gonna do is just adjust this axis here. Gotta take these screws out and then break that one open, break that one open. And all I'm doing is just getting this second axis here level on this spot hog. We can actually go from this way. Bubbles in the center. I'm just gonna recheck everything. Yep, we're good there. All right, next we're gonna check timing on this bad boy and see how timing looks. Another thing is just to make sure our rest looks pretty level here. Hoyt doesn't have a burger hole like most manufacturers do. Instead they have their numbers. Rest is slightly angled up. So again, just like to get everything kind of centered first, just to make the tuning process a little bit easier. Okay, good there. Good there. It's also important when you're coming to tune. For example, if this was a customer's bow, if he ran a different stabilizer up front, a longer one, I'd have to have that too, because adding stabilizer weights can also affect how you hold. So that could affect a paper tune as well. So just keep that in mind. Practice like you play, basically. So if you run this with a 12-inch bar up front, then make sure you have the bar. So. Again, for the timing, we're just looking to see if the mods are hitting the cable at the exact same time. I'm still a little off there and a little off on the bottom. Top's touching, bottom's touching. So we are timed. All right, now we're ready to try this, run it through paper, and just see kind of what tear we're getting. See if there's any big course adjustment as far as swapping spacers on the limbs go, on the cams go, just to see if we need to shift that. If it's small, then we can maybe micro adjust the rest and tune it. But let's go back there, see what it looks like through paper. All right, so we're gonna shoot it through paper. This is how I like to do it. I just like to see how close we are because it's a good starting point. Guys, when you're shooting your bow through paper or getting it tuned, try to watch your facial contact. If you're having so much contact with the arrow on your face, your draw length's probably too long. Just make sure you don't have a lot of facial contact going. I know a lot of guys really press that nose into that string, and any little indentation on that string can also affect the tear and affect the tune. So just be mindful of that. Yes, we highly preach touching your nose to the string or to the nose button. Just don't put a lot of force on that. So just another tip to help with consistency. All right, we're gonna get anchored, bubble in the center. All right, we got a really bad tear. So y'all get to see some work be done today. All right, so points here, we got just a wicked knock right. So that arrow coming out of the bow is doing that. So that's a lot. So what we're gonna need to do is press this. And since we have such a big knock right tune, knock right tear, what we're gonna have to do to get this bow in tune, if Ian can zoom in here, see how we have this thin spacer on the left side, thick spacer on the right. Since we have such a big knock right tear, we're gonna need to flip those. Anytime you have a knock right or a knock left tear, you're gonna move your cam in the direction of that knock tear. So for example, this one's a huge knock right. I'm gonna move this cam far to the right. Looking at the bottom one already has it to the right, so this should just help even that out. So let's go put it in the press. We'll have to take this cam off, slide that cam way over to the right, and then we'll reshoot it. All right, so need to swap these spacers. How to do that? Get in the press, take some tension off of it, and then I'm just gonna take a flathead here and just get this E-clip off that's holding my axle. And then they come with a little ring to help kind of protect that axle. Then we'll get me a T-handle here and just run it through. Axle's out. Now you gotta be careful on bows with a lot of spacers, like Hoyt, PSE has a ton of them now. See if you can drop these spacers. And you just don't wanna lose them. Luckily, there's only 2 for this Hoyt. All right, so I got my spacers that fell. Thinner one is gonna go on that right side because we're shifting the cam to the right. How I like to do this, I like to go ahead and run the axle back through. And then I'm gonna place my spacer on that axle. And then we just put the cam in there, reinstall that. And I'm gonna go ahead and run my axle through that whole cam so it doesn't fall off. Here's the tricky part, especially with bows with a lot of spacers, is getting this to fit in between here and not drop it 100 times. Let's get a drop count going. 2. They have some sort of oil on them, guys. It's not just me, I promise. All right, I got it pinned down, but we're still not in there good. Oh, a little far. Aha, we're in. And then we're just gonna get our cams and our axles lined back up. Hit it back through. And then back goes on the E-clip cover and the E-clip. Voila. Make sure we're still on the tracks. Axle's good, spacer's been kicked over good. We'll hold tension. And we are good to go. All right, so we've now swapped the spacers, which in essence has moved our cam further to the right since we had a knock right tear. Let's see what it does now. Still got a little knock right and a knock low, so we might need to make an arrest adjustment as far as moving that down. All right, we made our adjustments on our rest just slightly. That is better. Still, I mean, just a fraction knock right. Let's slide it over, but we're gonna make just a tiny micro adjust. Still, we just have a little bit of knock right. Make a slight rest bump. In essence, points left, so we're gonna bump our rest slightly to the left to straighten that up. And then we're gonna shoot a broadhead, see how it looks. Let's do that. All right, so after we've made our small rest adjustment, it's always wise to go back with your field tip and re-sight in, just make sure your field tip's on. Shooting the field tip right now. Make sure we're sighted still. Little left. That's good. All right, let's get our broadhead ready and see how it shoots. Now let's test our broadhead and our field tip. Broadhead first, single bevel. All right. Didn't look bad. Stand in the same spot. That was the broadhead, here's the field tip. Both look pretty good. Let's see what we got. Here's the field tip. And there's your broadhead. Both touching. You can get nitpicky and say your broadhead's a 1/8 of an inch right, but that is really good there. We'll shoot it one more time just to make sure it wasn't a fluke. Broadhead's hitting good. All right, let's go look at those. Well, target turned a little bit at an angle when I shot the field tip, but those are, I mean, they're touching. I will say we are good. All right, guys, so we just took you along on a Hoyt VTM 31 tune job. This was one that required a little bit more maintenance than previous bows that we've tuned in the past as far as just shifting the spacers over. Even with shifting that spacer, like you saw in the beginning, shifting it over to the right, shifting that cam over to the right, because that's where that knock tear was, we were still slightly knock right, so moving the rest left to combat that. And we got it to shoot good through paper, and then got it to broadhead tune. That's how we tune a Hoyt, tune any bow that comes in the shop. You know, we start off by making sure everything's level, timing, paper tune, and then broadhead tuning it to your choice. If you guys got any tune questions or anything like that, let us know. Thanks, guys.